व्ययन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमेन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, the mind, all the sensory and motor organs and the life force become efficient and powerful. All is verily the one without second, ever blissful, ever perfect, conscious, existence itself. This is called Brahman. May I never deny Brahman. May the Brahman never reject me. I am aware that realization of Brahman presupposes certain virtues spoken of by the scriptures. May all those virtues be with me. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us try to feel our intrinsic oneness. Let us imagine a huge heap of ice cubes. I am identifying myself with one ice cube. Experiencing that I am this ice cubes. I feel this is my size, this is my shape, this is my weight. I consider all other ice cubes different and separate from me. I form various relations with all those ice cubes. I connect with some ice cubes as my parents. Some as my siblings. With some as my colleagues and friends. With some others as enemies. Many others, I only know that they are different from me. I have no particular relation with them. I am convinced that this is all permanent. My separation and relationship with other ice cubes, I feel permanent. But I see this, all this is melting, my size, shape, weight, everything is changing. And that of others, other cubes as well. I am same as any of my friends and any of my enemies. As all differences are vanishing in a pool of water, this I is dissolved, gone. Actually, it never was. Only the one without second, the all-pervading Brahman, that alone was and is. There is no past, present, future there in this transcendent oneness. It is absolute. It is all pervading. I am that. Om. Peace. 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 So, dear friends, let us begin with our regular opening chant. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratascartheshvabhidyasvarat tene brahmahridaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayah tejo varimridam यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि. That from whom creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the instrumental and material cause of it, who is omniscient, is the only one having self-mastery, being the one independent entity, who illumined the mind of Brahma with the Vedic revelation, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest sages, in whom the world of the three gunas subsists, just as the combination of materials like fire, water and earth subsist in their causes, without changing their elemental nature, in whose consciousness there is nothing false. On that truth supreme we meditate. We had started the chapter on the God incarnating as fish. Very interesting. It is the first incarnation of God. And of course, there are those, it is the story of the 10 incarnations of God, which actually represents the story of evolution of species put in the ancient allegoric language, that there is first the aquatic creatures which come up, then there are the semi-aquatic, then there are the creatures moving in the land, and then there is further evolution. There is half human, half lion. Then there is the incarnations of a very powerful, strong-armed person. Then there are other incarnations that come. So this is an evolutionary track. So the species evolve like that. But it all comes from God. That is unchanging. That part of evolution is not told by Darwin or the post-Darwinian evolutionist. And Swami Vivekananda points out this lacuna in this Darwinian theory of evolution of species, that first of all, it doesn't tell about the origin of this, that all this appearance, where was it to begin with? So, infinitely many these animals, creatures, plants are there. And while the Darwinian theory very beautifully, I mean, one must admire that, how very well it presents the connection between different species, how the adaptation takes place, how the genetic transformation takes place, and the principle of protection, protecting oneself, survival of the fittest, becoming stronger. And then the second feature or most important principle in this theory of evolution is the how we get to propagate the species. So it is selection, principle of selection. So through that it is all propagated. So this is, and how brilliantly it is shown, and even now you can see how correctly it is there in even in the bacteria, even in the virus, everywhere you find how this principle seems to work. But the difference with this kind of cosmology is that firstly, it doesn't show the origin, it doesn't show that how all this evolves from something that is permanent. It is to understand change, one has to have something permanent on the basis of which we can see the change. Please try to feel this a very philosophical thought that underlies all the idea of motion, change in Indian philosophy. That to view the change, there has to be something that is relatively unchanging. If everything is moving at the same speed, then nobody will feel any speed because it is all identically moving. So there should be some difference. So some should be moving at lesser speed, so would see that the other is moving. And so if you take this backward, you have to come to this conclusion that something is there which does not change at all, from which all this has come up. Once you accept that there is something that has to be unchanging, then all that comes out of it is to be understood only as appearance. This is a very subtle point, that if from the unchanging, if the changing is coming up, this is experience, that what we that see in the world, what we interact with is all changing. Agreed that it is all changing. Now, if this changing is coming from the unchanging as a matter of some process, then that unchanging is no more unchanging. It has changed into all this. Do you see this difficulty? That unchanging, one without second divine, if it is really unchanging, then whatever we see can be there from it only as appearance. You cannot escape this conclusion logically. Otherwise, you have to come to the conclusion that the unchanging was really not unchanging. It changed, and thus we have this variety, infinitely varied universe here. So, therefore, it stands to reason that that unchanging alone is in the multiplicity, in becoming multiple, it did not change at all, because the multiplicity is just an appearance. It is, we get cheated, deceived in this world. That is also an experience that we get, that it is a log of wood was seen by that nun as a bear, because the bear was in the mind, that it is that area has bears. So, and lot of forest, so one tree had fallen down, and then the log was there, and she was driving, so stopped the car, because she accepted that bear have the right of way. So let the bear go, then I will move forward. But the bear was not moving. Another car came from the opposite direction. In that light, she saw it is a log of wood. Now, seeing the bear was an experience. Was the bear real? Afterwards, she never can get a question. How the log of wood changed itself into bear. That thought will not come. What will be the understanding? That log of wood appeared. Please mind this word, appeared as a bear. So, nothing happened to the log of wood. It, in and through all this process, there was no process. Just it was appearing as a bear. So similarly, the one without second, existence itself, unchanging, appears as this universe. It cannot, as the many monotheistic religions, they insist that the God made this, and tell also on what logic, who knows, but tell that it was done in 7 days, that is 6 days actually were required to do all these things. Wow, amazing. Within 6 days God created all this variety, and then on Sunday the God felt a little exhausted because of this hard work for 6 days, and decided to take rest. And therefore, on Sundays, we must have holiday. This is the idea that God did lot of work creating all these different species. So, if you take this as something sacrosanct, then it creates many problems of logic and philosophy. So, but if you see that it is a mere appearance, then those problems dissolve. Except another big problem remains, that who creates delusion? Who created this delusion? There must be a creator of the delusion also. And certainly the non-dual Vedanta has it feels the pain of how to explain it away. It is not easy to explain it. So therefore, honestly, they say we don't know. So we don't know how the delusion came about. So this is the supreme truth that we meditate, it remains unchanging, and there we see all this. And then in that what we see, there is the evolution. It changes and all that. But to explain this, the God also becomes incarnate. Everything is really God incarnating, but there are some special manifestations which are called God incarnating, incarnation of God, like this Rama, Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, Rama, Krishna, and all that. So they are special manifestations in the sense that there is no ignorance. It appears manifesting, coming up, appears to have an individuality, appears to have a distinction, I and the world. But actually, there is the knowledge that it is not real, that also is there. So, therefore, it gets called by some of the sages as anadhyasta vivarta. Vivarta means that which without actually being created just appears. Like the bear on the log of wood there. The log appeared as bear, so it is vivarta. For all people, most of the people, they see it as bear and keep on thinking about this, how this bear came. But there are these incarnations of God who say it is interesting, who know that we are seeing the bear while it is actually log. So, but they cannot tell because we won't believe that it is just a log. So they have to come amongst us and act as if they are also like us. They have a shape, they have a form, and they have coming and going and so forth. So, uh, this is the incarnation that we are discussing, the fish. Normally, it is only the human beings. God appears as man so that man may become God. But then, just to make it, you know, that God can appear in any form. Here it is shown that it is the fish incarnation, so that even the aquatic creatures can feel this connection with God. So we saw this, that king Satyavrata found a tiny fish while he was pouring oblations in the river, and then uh, he put it in a pot on the request of the fish. The fish started talking, as it were, that protect me from all those big creatures in the river, they would eat me up. So the king, see how interesting this story becomes. So it told the king to bring it at home. So the king then put that fish, brought home to home, and put in a pot. Next morning, the fish, tiny fish, became as big as the whole pot. Then the king put it in a big tub. But next day, the fish has filled the whole tub. Then he put it later in a small pond, maybe in his backyard. Next morning, the fish filled the whole pond also. Uh, and then he put it in a big lake, uh, like one of those great lakes, and then that also got filled. And so he brought that ultimately to the ocean, that will get there, and then the fish, such big thing, said, "No, no, I am afraid in this ocean. They will, all those big creatures will kill me." And then the king understands, can see all this play, and then says that mm, it is. Uh, the beautiful statement is there that the king said, uh, "We have never seen or heard uh, an aquatic creature with such divine powers as you seem to possess." Everything was getting immediately filled. Whatever you see is filled with that fish. And this is like God. Whatever you think of is filled with God. And this hall is filled with God. So everything you see, think of you as a body, the body is filled with you. It is God. That everything, it is like we are putting ourselves in a pot of the body, and then we fill the body as it were. It is, we become that body as it were. The bigger the bigger that filling principle does. Like the body of the ocean, then God is ocean. And God filled the whole ocean. God filled the whole skies and the space intervening. Everything is filled with it. You put that God in it and it occupies it. You put I in anything as my body, I am this body, now you will not be able to tell where in the body that is. Mm, you are, you will show that here I am, but where, Yona, where in the body? Nobody can tell. There is no even possibility of telling because it is everywhere in that. So it occupies like that everything. That is how the king realizes that the fish cannot be any ordinary fish, but the all pervading God. So he praised the divine in the fish form and requested it to reveal its true identity. So, O thou, the Supreme Spirit, salutations to the Master of creation, preservation, and destruction. Thou art the soul and the goal of us who have taken refuge in thee. All the forms that thou hast taken in as incarnations are for the good of the worlds. Pray, what is the special object of taking this form in the present incarnation? I would like to understand that. O lotus eyed one, the service rendered to thee, the soul and friend of all, will never go in vain, unlike dependence on limited beings with the consciousness of their physical individuality. Mm. See, it is hinted here that service to God with the awareness that it is God never goes waste. It brings great results. Service to a person with about that person a limited understanding that this is my so and so, this is my spouse, this is my parent, this is this. That because you are not seeing the truth in it, that service goes to waste. Do you see this idea that you are probably thinking that I am serving my parents? Isn't it right? Yes, relatively speaking, it is right. But uh, only relatively means instead of abusing, you are serving them, that is good. But it will not bring any superior reward to you. It goes in vain. But when you see God in them, then everything changes. Then you are serving God. That is what Sri Ramakrishna told, that serve other beings as manifestations of God. They are God appearing like this. So now this king told this to that fish god. So service to you. Now it did service, brought it to the home, put it in one pot, then transferred to the big pot, then to pond, etc. And now is waiting at the shore of the ocean So please reveal me your true identity. Already revealed, that is why the king is able to say all these things. So, as a fruit of my devotion to thee, thou hast now revealed this most wonderful form of thine to me. And then this fish, God. God now has all these attributes without actually being attributeless. Without having any attributes, really, the God, when incarnates, has these attributes too. So, with these attributes, now the fish God is telling that it is. This Shuka describes the situation, says Shuka, the Lord of the universe, who is ever loving to his wholehearted devotees and who had now assumed the form of the fish in order to sport in the water of the deluge, as also to bless his devotees, said as follows to the king and sage Satyavrata. So this is all sports, sports, whether you like or not. This is all the sport of God. There is no other explanation. And the sport has no other explanation. Why are you playing? For the fun of it. There is no such things, as the particular universal rules of sports. As per your convenience, you make the rules. If it doesn't work, change the rules. That is how the mathematics is considered as a sport, as a play, You form the rules and keep on playing according to those rules. You choose any set of rules, provided no rule should be contradictory to the other rule that you assume. If you have started like Euclid's geometry starts with these 5 axioms, 5 rules. Now, the only condition is that uh, it should not be unnecessary rule, means if the 4 of them can deduce the 5th one, then the 5th one was not necessary. The 4 should have been just enough. So, but so far nobody has been able to prove that Euclid's of these 5 rules, what is it? They were having, Jyoti, they were having debate about the 5th axiom and thought that it can be proved by the other 4 axioms. Has it been done? You don't know. Okay. So I had, the last I knew was that it was still not done. So Euclid was perfect those thousands of years ago. So anyway, and second condition is that one should not contradict other. Out of these 5, if one contradicts other, then that is the problem. So, but can it be proved that it doesn't contradict? Not too long ago, about 70 years ago or so, 75 years ago, one mathematician, logician, proved that you cannot prove it. This proving is not possible. It gets called as incompleteness theorem, Gödel's incompleteness theorem. So that is a funny idea. So this the game, it is game. Mathematics is a game. You form your rules according to how much fun you get from this game. If you get bored with this, okay, go to another game. And according to the situation, you change. Like in our little lane, we used to play cricket. And then in actual cricket game, if there is a big ground and so forth, you can hit as hard as you can. Uh, but in that plain space, then if you hit and it goes into somebody's house or breaks the glass of something, so it becomes a problem. So a rule was introduced there that if the ball goes beyond this, then the fellow is penalized. He would be out. Not only out, if he repeats that offense, he will never be included in the game there. So now why? Because that was needed as a rule there to have some fun. So therefore, in games, you make the rules according to what you feel nice, funny, enjoyable. You cannot ask question there that oh, why in basketball we are not allowed to kick the balls. No, no, it is, then it will be a different game. So this is the rules. If you don't like, don't play this. Play another game. Make your own rules and play that. So like they play solitaire, they have some rules. But one gentleman, quite old, so he used to cheat in that game. When I asked why, no, no, otherwise the game will not be funny. So you can change those rules. So it is a game. So this all is the sport of God. And this is so nothing in this sports is real. There is no real enmity. Hmm. In the sports there is this you have the rivals and you yell at them, scream at them, and play. But when the game is over, hey, very good, congratulations, you won. And then, but next time, I will come better prepared, and so forth. So then all go to the same Starbucks together. So that is how it is fun. So why God made this world? You cannot find a reason. Uh, Try to think of any reason and it will be self-contradictory. It is, and therefore it is said it is just play. Play doesn't require a particular reason. Just have fun. So the fun games, you get otherwise bored. So the scripture also says, like Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that why God created this world for fun. It is was getting bored alone. Uh, like our Charlie would say, I was alone, so was feeling bored. So therefore, started making the castles in the air. So all the fantasies and daydreaming, that is castles in the air. You can otherwise go to the seashore and have a sand and make a castle out of the sand. So it is why, well, I was getting bored. So God also therefore was told, Ekaki naramate. The God was feeling a bit bored, and so therefore he just threw up this creation. Means it is just a matter of sports. There is no reality to it. So this idea is being told here that it is, but although this is all true, in the sports there is a purpose to it. In the sports there is then cause and effect relationship, and that if you play like this you will win, if you play like this you will lose. All those cause effect relationships are within then they play. And you have made those cause-effect relationships. This is the cause, this is the effect, and so forth. So it is, the game goes on, and then Lord said, now I am up to a new sport. That is what I am telling you. On the seventh day from today, the whole universe will get inundated in the waters of the terrible deluge that comes at the end of an era. At the end of one of those yugas, this big deluge comes. Everything gets submerged in that deluge. That when, like, the children are making castles in the sand, any of you made such castles? Adi Maharaj, did you make castles like that? Yeah, so they make castles. And then they came to the beach and then busied themselves for some time, and then it became evening. Now parents in a hurry to get back home. Hey kids, come on, come. Yeah, it is quite dark. Oh mom, just one more minute. And then but then ultimately mom or dad holds them by collar, and then okay. And then while going, they kick that their nice creation. So all gets submerged in the sea of sand. It was just sand, now became sand again. So that is how this whole creation gets submerged in those waters of the deluge. So it is that, O king, on the seventh day from today, all the three worlds, the earth, the intermediary region, and heaven, will all get filled, inundated, and will go underwater. So, and then a ship will come to you. Now, how this fellow is not going to get underwater, who knows? That is not mentioned here explicitly. But assume that this fellow will not go get inundated under that deluge water. So a ship will come to you, and you will get into it along with the seeds of all vegetation and a pair of each creature. You will be guided by the Saptarshis. The Saptarshis, that what translation you told last time? Big bear. So that will guide you through this turbulent sea. And that used to be the guide for many seafarers, or even in the deserts where we are. So if you feel lost, you'll see where is that big bear, and that would guide you. So the Saptarshis will keep on guiding you, seven stars. So the boat containing all seeds and sample of species is anchored to the great fish. When it is then all terrible, you see the storm raging, the water is gushing with great speed. You will not be able to control the boat. So then you will find me, a big fish, and then you anchor your boat to that fish. So that fish will carry you further. So now you will be astonished to see the similarity with the account in Genesis. In fact, Swami Vivekananda says that in all different world scriptures, you will find this story of deluge. So in Christianity also you have that deluge, and then that Noah is told to make an ark, in which again all species, a pair of each will be kept, but it doesn't mention the plants, because probably the idea was the plants do not have any life, so other species were meant. But in this Indian account, seeds of every plant also is mentioned. So it is the Lord. This is the account in the Bible, in the Genesis. I have abridged it, keeping the whole account. I have removed a few lines just to reduce the matter. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race is. So he thought, I will wipe them from the face of the earth, for I regret that I have made them. It is nasty people. Why did I ever go to make them? Terrible. So I am going to that remove them from the face of the earth. But one of them was he found good. Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Probably that was the wood that was easily available there. So, of cypress wood. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life, but I will establish my covenant with you. Means my support, assurance, my promise, that is the covenant. And you will enter the ark. You are to bring into the ark two of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive. So the account is, so similar as in the Genesis, as in this Puranas. So could have been copied, or it might be the more likely is that nobody copied anybody. This is how water is seen as that which submerges everything. So deluge. In deluge, everything will get washed away, removed, and the new creation will start coming from that. So this is even in the Rig Veda you find the mention that in the Nasadiya Suktam about water. Was there water everywhere? Uh, it is of course a negation that no, there was no water, but Ambas, that Amba was that was alone there. So not that. So it is the water idea as deluding everything. Moreover, people always find, the rivers swell, the rivers become like seas, and the villages they just get under those and get destroyed. It is many places are there where there was. I went to one city, Dibrugarh, in Assam, and I was shown that is the old Dibrugarh, and it was all in ruins. Nothing was there. So I was told that it is on the bank of the mighty river Brahmaputra, and once in a flood, the whole river, as it were, went on the village, and nobody had any chance. The whole thing got inundated, everything got destroyed, and this is now the new Dibrugarh. So that is constructed much later. So the water has that capability of removing everything And so therefore this is what he said. So the Lord in the form of fish told him, do as I have instructed, and then through questions answers I will reveal the supreme truth of Brahman to you. The purpose of all this is to reveal the supreme truth. The supreme truth has to be revealed, and that is why the God assumes incarnation. So it mentions here that during that time, as answers given to questions, I shall reveal the truth of my all comprehending existence, essence, or glory, known as the transcendent Brahman. So that is how the knowledge of Brahman will come. Thus instructed, and with my blessings besides, you shall realize the truth of Brahman in your heart. And we all can, just think of this story. Feel that that fish, the God, is right in our heart. That divine, in the oceans, in the heart, in the ocean of infinite consciousness, there is this divine, and it thus reveals to ourselves. This story will conclude later, but we will stop here today with this closing prayer, and after that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्हो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. Anybody has any question? You have a question. I thought it is such a simple story. Huh.
In mathematics, everyone can agree on the principles, but in religion, people disagree, and that conflicts me.
Oh, well, it is, so simple. Everybody who is playing the same game, they agree. Not all do not agree. Even amongst mathematicians, there are two categories uh, of mathematicians. One is called intuitionalists and other is called formalists. So they do not always agree with each other. So because the rules are different, you see, so different rules. So in the religion also it's like that. You begin with different rules, so you don't agree with each other. So it is not that agreement is good, but it has a problem. With agreements only we cannot learn. It is the differences that make us, try to understand, try to feel. Why is Vrishali saying like this? So then you get a question, am I right or she is right? Then you try to interact and thus you get an answer. So that is how the differences are so useful. So That is why we have what is called the study of comparative religions. Swami Vivekananda mentioned because of the study of comparative religions, we can see the other's viewpoint, that why that other person is saying like this and I am saying like this. So it is very important to do that. So that is about the differences in religions. It is. Otherwise, no difference, no life. Life requires difference, and not everything same opinion. Not so. Any other question? Yes, Raji? Is it on? Hello? It's not on. Which number microphone? Battery? Okay, I will announce your question. Dog appear, log appearing as a bear, yeah. Yeah. There is, if you see, but it is not true that it is always has to be a similarity. No need of a similarity always. Like you see, this analogy has, but in the cloud, when somebody sees a tiger, there is a tiger in the skies because the cloud takes the shape of a tiger, and then afterwards, you see it is a horse, not a tiger. Now, there is no similarity between cloud and those shapes, and yet you get deluded, you still see. So, that is not the essential aspect. The essential aspect is you see what is not there. That is the cardinal, atasmin tad buddhi. That is what Shankaracharya describes in his great philosophically one of the ever sublimest treatise about the superimposition, adhyasa bhashya. So that somebody raises exactly the same question as you raised, that it is the rope will appear as a snake because there is some similarity. The rope will not appear as an elephant. So it is, there must be some connection between the God and the world. No, it is not so. There is no direct connection. If you want to see the connection, it is there too. That you exist, God exists, you feel happy sometimes, God is happiness itself. So it is like that, there is some connection. Where did you get the awareness or consciousness? And God is conscious. So that gets reflected in the appearance also. In that sense, there is. Any other this question? Do you have any question upstairs? So let us conclude with the closing chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। Tomorrow there is the day-long silent meditation from noon to 8 p.m.